Hello. Hello. Who is here? Two friends. Good morning from Vietnam. Oh, Robin Williams. You guys know that movie? Good morning, Vietnam. Oh, say hey, kid. Hello again. Willie Mays fan. I'm old enough to know Willie Mays. I used to love baseball too. Wow. That's a great sport to play, man. Lot to it, right? I think it's for sure I don't know because I never played football, but baseball is great movie. Oh God, it's a good movie. He's actually my favorite actor. I can tell you an interesting story about Robin Williams. I never met him, but I know of him quite well. But he's my favorite actor. I mean, he's just been in some great movies, right? What was the name of the movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in Boston? Oh, that was a good movie too. I can't remember the name of it. Can you remember? That's the movie that made them famous, right? They wrote it, finally got it produced and made. Oh, what was that? I missed your last lesson. Good Will Hunting, thank you. Oh, that's a good movie. Wow. So interesting. How can you play pickleball when I am speaking? Good for you, man. I went to the gym this morning. That's why I'm a couple minutes late, sweaty. Just got out of the shower. Man, I have got to go. I have got to exercise or I just feel absolutely terrible if I don't move a little bit. I feel so stiff because I teach English and I'm in front of the computer all the time. I only have one student now that's in person. Lazy student. One lazy student, but she's only 9 and she's busy. 33 degrees this morning. Ooh, that is Fahrenheit. Wow, no good. My brother just messaged it was 16 below in North Dakota. God, I don't know if that makes you feel better. Probably not. It wouldn't make me feel better either. It was a little cold here this week, but 69, I think 68. Which I would be angry if I was you, if I heard that. Yeah. I forget how blessed I am with the weather in Vietnam sometimes. It's just so comfortable. Thailand, the Philippines, it's just such great weather. Yeah. Peru was actually cold. Colombia was cold in Bogota. Yeah. How strange. Well, Peru is quite far south, actually. Yeah, 16 below. Bismarck, North Dakota. Yeah, I remember I grew up in South Dakota. Not quite as cold as North Dakota, but I remember 30 below zero one time. That's the coldest I remember. And I remember I had to change the antifreeze in my truck. I was afraid my engine block was going to freeze up and crack. So I had to go change the antifreeze when it was like 16, 17 below. And you have to run out. You have to wear gloves. And then you just take your gloves off. I don't remember, but a few seconds, maybe 5, 10, 15 seconds, maybe half a minute. Try and turn that wing nut on the bottom of the radiator. Those things are so easy to work on. But, and then your fingers just go numb. Then I have to run back in my dad's apartment, warm my hands back up for a few minutes, 5, 10 minutes, then back outside. I finally got it done. drain some antifreeze out and put another gallon in there, and probably save my truck engine. Taking things slow. Which things? Yeah, I have no choice with some things. Oh, you mean about the girls, women? Yeah, I think that's. Hopefully, we can get more men to understand that, because I just saw another story of this guy just got murdered. Oh, I can't say that word. Hammered in the Philippines by this girl. She had told him that she had she had no kids, and it turns out she had six. She had six kids. She was 30 years old. She didn't lie about her age. She said she had no kids. So he got there. She had rented an apartment, which she said was way too expensive, like $800 for a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in the Philippines. Nothing fancy, so way overcharged. So she pockets the extra money. And she had 12 people move into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. This poor guy was just so happy. And I guess she was really good looking. Maybe that's why she had 6 kids. Everybody wanted her. So, God, yeah, and wrap it up too, man. You don't want any kids. You don't want any kids. And if they ever tell you they're on the pill, they're probably, I'm going to say 99% lying. If they can hook you in with a baby, they have laws. They have laws. If you have a child, it's not necessarily that they're going to let you leave until you make sure that there's some sort of financial promise or whatever. I don't know the whole process, but I haven't heard people talk about it. But they're going to side on the Filipino wife in the Philippines, right? And same in Vietnam or Thailand. They're going to side on their native people before you and I, unless it's, ridiculous. So you have to be really careful. That's a big one. I know us guys, we don't like to wear, wrap it up, right? We don't like to wear the bags, but I just think it's such a smart decision to do that until you get to know them. Like you said, move things slow. You got to go slow with these girls, because eventually they'll get frustrated if they're gold diggers, right? And you'll see it. They're expecting money within 3 months, maybe a week. Some of them, a lot of gold diggers want it right away. A week, 2 weeks, they don't get it, they're gone. Some of them are more patient, 2-3 months, but eventually they're going to crack. So if you can wait to move in with them for 6 months or a year, just date, it's hard. I know when you see them, oh my God, there's so many good looking women here. It's hard to not want them to move in, to have them next to you, right? And it's very helpful for them in some ways. They can really help you out when you have a Vietnamese girl here that can speak Vietnamese, obviously, and help you with all the things, with your cell phone and getting your electricity hooked up or your Wi-Fi at home and all that stuff they can help you with. Because a lot of those things you're not going to find in English. A lot of them, they're getting much better, but it's still like my cell phone service. In Vietnam, they don't have any English text, right? You got to translate them. And it's tiring because there's so many messages from them. The problem is, like, I speak Vietnamese, but when they send you these texts, it has no marks on them. So I don't know. My Vietnamese is not that good without the marks. I need the marks, the accent marks, right? Up, down. There's 6 of them. So I have to know to kind of get an idea. And even with the marks, some of it I wouldn't understand. So it's tiring. So it's good to have a girlfriend to help you with all the little things when you're here. But yeah. Any questions today, you guys? There's only 2 of you guys here. Say hey and somebody else. Or anything you want to chat about or tell me about. Tell me something. I can always use some more knowledge. I learned some stuff yesterday during my live stream. Yeah, if you guys want to share any of your experiences or talk about it here, or you have any questions about living here, I've lived in the countries that are on the description. Peru, almost a year in Peru. Colombia, just 3 months. I got a good taste of it, and there's a lot of information on Colombia too. Mexico, which I'd been to for vacation, but this time I lived there 6 months. And I had actually lived there for a month before, but that wasn't really living because I was in a hotel for a month in Cancun, or not a month, 3 weeks. We ran out of money. We had to go home after 22 days, I think. We ran out of funds. We had to go back and work. God, Cancun is beautiful though, isn't it? Have you guys been there? Wow. That is one nice place. How soon did the lady suggest moving in with you? Oh, that's a good question. So my current girlfriend, she made the suggestion. I had known her for a month before I asked her out, and I was thinking about this yesterday. I think maybe it was 4 weeks, 6 weeks. She suggested, why don't we just get an apartment together? I was living in a studio in an Airbnb. It was $500 a month. It was very nice, very modern, very well decorated, very comfortable, everything. Good quality mattress, sheets, and pillows. It was really comfortable. Super clean. Really nice Airbnb hostess. So I was comfortable there. I liked it. Just didn't have a fridge, really small fridge, which are, pretty much useless. So I think she took 4 to 6 weeks. But with her, it was, I don't know the reasons, but it wasn't financial. Financially, she's way above me. She's very financially set. So, she's very focused. She's very frugal. But she doesn't have to work if she doesn't want to. She does like to work to starve off boredom. But let me think some other ones. I never lived with any other girls here except my ex-wife. That was it, with her family. What cities are you thinking about? Of course, I'll fly to Tokyo, I assume. I'd like to go see Mount Fuji for myself. I think that would be kind of cool. It looks really interesting, beautiful. Really just Tokyo. I don't know if I have a big inkling to get outside. Do you have any suggestions? I just don't really know. Because I don't know Japan well. I dated some Japanese women in America too. Really, really easy to date. They don't have that jealousy. And we kind of had one of them, the one I was with the longest, we kind of had an open relationship, I would say. She was just so easy to get along with. And she knew she was just in America for a year or two. And she said, I want to try sleeping with another guy. I said, okay. Well. Actually, at the time, I think I was just fine with it. I know I'm a little weird when it comes to that. It just doesn't, I don't know why it doesn't bother me so much. If a woman's honest with me, I can, if they lie, I absolutely hate it. because I hate liars. I mean, I just am not jealous about that. I just kind of look at it like that is, that's sex, and that's different than a relationship. And I knew that there was no possibility of us being together because she wanted to go back to Japan. She just wanted to, she was in school in America, going to junior college. So I think she was there for 2 years. So I knew she was going to go. At the time, I was working so much. And I didn't have time to see her that much. So she said, and she told me one time, she said, oh, I brought this guy home. And, but she said she didn't want to do it again because the guy's thing was so big. I was like, okay, that's probably not the exact thing I want to hear, but it's kind of funny. You're very honest about it, right? So she said, I don't know if I could do it again with him. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really know what to tell you. But she was really cool. She actually tried to get her friend to join in one night. And I met both of them, but her friend had a boyfriend and she just, I don't know, she just wasn't down. Maybe I wasn't her type, but I don't know what it was. But yeah, it was my young days. I was in my 20s. Yeah, well, I was working a lot then. Taking a pickleball trip. Were you to Japan? Say hey. How old was she? Oh, good question. I think she was, I can't exactly remember, but I think she was like 22, 23, 24. I think, let me think how old I was then. What year was that? I think I was 20. No, I think I might have been like 30, 31, maybe 32, 33. I can't remember exactly. I wasn't too old though. Yeah, Kobe looks really nice. Kyoto I've heard about, but I don't really know. Yeah. I remember I was wishing that that three-way would have happened quite badly. At the time, I was like, oh, please. Her friend was cute. She was really cute. Not really thin, but I don't really, it's not that big a deal to me. Like thin. Especially then at that time, I didn't care. I was stronger then. Now I'm weaker. So I like thin women because they're so much easier in the bedroom. Because they're so small, it's easy. I'm not strong anymore there. So it's kind of funny. And she was very cute, very sweet. She loved rock and roll. I remember that. That was kind of interesting. Yeah. It was definitely cute. This was all in Seattle. Seattle has a pretty good sized Japanese population there. Japanese women are the most likely to marry Westerners in America. I think only 20% of Japanese women in America marry a Japanese guy. And I think that a big part of that is because there's not that many Japanese guys there in comparison to the Japanese women. There's a lot. But Japanese women, of course, have been in America for a long time. So have Chinese. But Chinese definitely marry Westerners in America. I remember this. I remember looking at stats. I can't remember. The ones that stuck out to me were Japanese were the most likely to, they're more comfortable dating Americans or, and Koreans were the least likely. They have a high percentage of only marrying Koreans. They're more, I don't want to say xenophobic, but they more stick to their own race. And that is the same thing in South Korea too. Right. They have a lot of clubs in Seoul, South Korea that you're not allowed to go in if you're white or black. or American, Mexican, no way. Japanese, no. No. A lot of my Vietnamese friends here say that South Koreans look down on them. And I think there's a truth to that from what I've seen. Not all. I have some really, really nice South Korean students. 2 girls. Maybe one girl was a little bit, I don't know if you want to call it racist or xenophobic, but I don't know. And then, and she got attacked by some Vietnamese girls at a bar one night. Like 3 of them beat her up pretty good. So maybe, I don't know, but you shouldn't hate a whole race just because of that. But she was really nice. I liked her a lot, but I don't think she particularly liked Vietnamese people. The other girl liked Vietnamese people quite a lot. She had good luck. And then the guy, South Korean guy I had a student, was just one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. Oh, he's so nice. Such a kind person. But I don't know what's happening with him, but yeah, and his wife. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, South Koreans are the least likely to marry outside of their race in America. Chinese are pretty high too. Chinese tend to like to marry Chinese in America. So interesting. Everybody's different though, right? What cracks me up is when I'm in Vietnam or Thailand and I see these goth girls, right? They have them in the Philippines too. These girls that wear all black lipstick. I'm just like, oh, that's so funny because that's like America like 30 years ago. Do any of your girl students flirt with you? Oh, yeah, I think so. Young too. Young, really young. You have to be very careful when you're a teacher. You know, I've only dated one student, I believe, if I remember correctly. I've only dated one student. I dated a girl from an English center, but that was different. She wasn't my student. I only dated one girl that was my student, ex-student, but that's it. But you have to be very careful. Even if they're of legal age, which some of them weren't, you know, it's common for, you know, girls and young boys to like their teacher, right? Because you have a bond with them, right? Or they respect you or they like you. So you have to be very careful. And obviously careful if they're under 18, but you have to be very careful if they're over 18 too. It's a bad, because I mean, I shouldn't say you can't do it. Of course you can do it, you know, if there's a connection there. But at my age, to date somebody that's 19 or 20, no, I can't do it. I couldn't have a girlfriend that young. I can't do it. I mean, I see guys that do it and I'm just like, wow, I just think that's your odds of a long-term successful relationship are almost impossible. It's already hard enough if you date somebody, you know, 10 years younger, 15 years younger, even 20 years younger. But more than that, oh God. She's not going to want to be with you when you're 80 and she's 50 or 45, right? She's still got some get up and go, and you're walking around with a cane, you know, maybe wearing diapers. So I just don't think it's a recipe for success. I think they're just there, most of them, for the money. What did you deal while working in the casino? That's funny. I did not know. I dealt pretty much everything except craps. Craps is, I mean, you can put all the games together and it's maybe 10% of the knowledge you need to deal craps. Craps is another league altogether. It is very difficult. And even the smart guys I knew that did it said it takes 2, 3, 4 years before you're actually even average craps dealer. I was like, I don't need to. And I didn't like working in the casino that much. So I was like, I think I'll pass. And they only paid you 50 cents more to know craps or a buck or something, whatever. I was like, oh, forget that. So, but I dealt roulette was fun. I think every other game I dealt that there is in Washington State. I did learn how to deal poker, but I never had it as a job. I was never a poker dealer. I learned how to pitch cards and so forth, but yeah. I mean, that can be a lot of fun or it can be brutal. Depends on who your players are, right? Yeah, I love poker too, man. It's a great game, but I'm absolutely horrible in person. Online, I can understand the math, but in person, I played against a professional poker player one time, and that was an eye opener for me. He stopped me of any dreams of wanting to play poker. I mean, every time I had something, he knew it. And every time I didn't have it and I was bluffing, he knew it. It was unbelievable. I was up, I think, that night. I wasn't playing high stakes, maybe 2-4 or something. I think I was up like 200, 250 or something when he came. And he took all of it or most of all of it in like 45 minutes, an hour or something. And I was like, oh, it was crazy how good he was. I mean, I didn't know my tells were that obvious. And not only can you see my tells, I can't read anybody. I can't read BS at a poker table at all. I mean, sometime maybe I could get lucky, but no. It's a great game. Takes a lot of skill. That is I have no natural talent for that game. None. Are you pretty good at poker? Say hey. Oh, you reminded me. Oh, that was painful. I haven't really thought about it. I'm still mourning my Vikings loss. Oh, it's brutal. Oh, the offensive line was so bad. I hate that they blame Sam Darnold for all that. I mean, they gave him no time. Yeah, some of it was on him. He held the ball too long, but his offensive line was brutally bad. They couldn't run block or pass block. Not even either one of them. You can hold your own. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. I wish I had that skill. I really do. That's a good way if you some people make a pretty good living at it, right? Yeah, for sure. These new generation, I don't know how, I assume you're a little older because you're, say, a kid. The new generation, golly, these guys are brutal. They're tearing up the old school guys, right? I saw that Scotty Wynn is broke now. I mean, I don't know if that's true. And Jackie, what was his name? It wasn't Jackie Chan like from the movie, or was it? I saw a special on him on YouTube. Yeah, there's places to watch football here. They've got foreigners who own bars here, and they know they put football on. But the problem is those games are usually about, 1 p.m. Eastern time. It is a 1 a.m. game here. So even if it's a late start, 4 or 7, that means 4 a.m. or 7 a.m. here, Eastern time. So it's brutal. But online, no, I could never find. I looked a long time because I really like to watch football. That's my only sport that I can watch now. I'm so lost in baseball. I just don't keep up with it. I met a bunch of baseball players in Seattle at a bar I used to go to. Actually, it was a comedy club, Seattle, the Comedy Underground. I wouldn't say it turned me off to baseball, but they're more arrogant, I would say. I think baseball players are more arrogant. Then the basketball players I've met were really humble, nice, most of them. And football players, really, really humble and nice. $12 million, huh? Wow. How many participants this year? I think I saw that. I think I saw there was an Asian guy, right, that won it this year. I think I saw the hand. And they were angry because somebody was doing computer analytics or something. Yeah, what? Yeah, the NBA, man, I've just lost so much interest. And I don't know why. I think I'm just busy too, right? It's a different game too. It's way more one-on-one now, right? There's some great one-on-one players, but very good one-on-one players in the NBA. James Harden, a lot of really great talent, but it just, who's the guy's name? The European guy for Dallas and then Denver. It's just amazing to watch. It's great. But it's just a different game. I actually went when I was in Seattle and watched the females play in the WNBA finals. I gotta say, it was actually really fun to watch. They were really good at passing and shooting. I missed the slam dunks, Sean Kemp and so forth from the NBA. I missed that stuff too, the excitement. But the actual skill of the game was really good. So I like to watch, but now they've ruined that because they've stuck racism into the WNBA now. So CNN, bringing back racism, 2024 for ratings. Wow, 15,000. Wow. So I know it had gone down for a couple of years, right? That's the highest I've ever heard it. I remember 12K one year. Wow. How many days was that? 15,000 into one. You got to get some luck, some great play and some luck, right? Both. Wow. Holy smokes. That's too high a price for me, man. $10,000. I think I have to have somebody back me. Nobody with any sense whatsoever is going to back me in a poker tournament. Yeah. These guys are so good. Mm. 18,000 now? Wow. Holy smokes. Wow, that is huge. I saw they had $1 million buy-in, right? I saw that Daniel Negreanu was in it, and then he became a commentator when he got knocked out. $1 million to buy in? Golly. There's some people with a lot of money in the world, right? In Vegas, floating around Vegas. Not many of them, but some of them. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Huge, huge, huge money. Well, it's just you and me, buddy. And lots of celebrities, huh? Interesting. Well, a lot of celebrities lost their houses, right? In Malibu. Somebody did a report and said, oh, the guy who won the Super Lotto, he won $2 billion like 3 years ago in California. He bought a house for $13 million and it burned down. And they said, well, I guess bad luck has come to him in a big way. And I was like, 13 million. The guy won 2 billion. His take home, even after taxes, had to be at least 800 million. So I'm sure it was insured. So how is he in trouble? I mean, it's just insane when I listen to the news. I'm like, who writes this stuff and thinks we're so dumb? 13 million to that guy is like nothing. Why would you say something so idiotic? It's insured, right? He's going to have fire damage, fire insurance, right? I would assume he would. It's Southern California. Jeez Louise, crazy. Yeah, dude, it was really sad. And I think besides sad, it's scary, right? Did you see all the videos from people inside the homes that refused to leave or couldn't leave? Oh, God. I wonder if any of them died because you could see those giant flames. I spent 1 year fighting forest fires, 1988. And it was shocking how hot those fires are when you're a long ways away from them. I was in Yellowstone. I don't remember. I don't think this was Yellowstone. This was the first fire I fought, or the second one in Washington State. But we were probably a good 150 yards away, a football field and a half away from this fire. Those trees were probably about 150 feet tall, if I can remember correctly. Maybe 100 feet tall, but the flames off them were like 200. So it was like 300 feet. And the heat you could feel from 150 yards away was just like, this is so hot, I have to step back. It was crazy. So I see these people in these houses with these big flames shooting up, and I'm just like, oh God, these people, those poor people, because they just got that heat gets you, or your house catches on fire, of course, and you're just done. You got nowhere to run. Nowhere to run, nowhere to go. Sometimes firefighters get stuck too. We got trained in how to deal with that if you get stuck, but it's there's only so much you can do. The crazy thing is that they say that Trump is crazy to talk about, and I'm not like a MAGA guy, huge MAGA guy. I think he's going to change a lot for the better in America, and just hopefully we don't get anything crazy happening, like attacking the Panamanians, something ridiculous like that, or Greenland. Sketchy. But I think a lot of things will improve. But he is right about the ground being, it's already so dry. But he is right that you can clean up the underbrush. So, because it's just fuel, they call it fuel. And once that stuff catches on fire, if it's thick enough, those needles, it gets so hot. And once that heat gets going, it's just like coal. It's like a forest fire that doesn't go out, So it just keeps spewing out, and the winds hit it and blow those embers everywhere. Oh, brutal. Hard to put out. So you can manage it, but California, they're idiots. They're focused on hiring people that are, a woman in a man's body or whatever. That's all they care about, is hiring gay women, gay guys, transsexuals. That's all they care about. You don't have to have any knowledge. And now they're paying the price for it. I don't care if you're transsexual who likes to be, all dressed in black. If you're intelligent and can do a good job, I'm fine with it. But they just hire anybody. They don't care about the intelligence. They just put anybody in there. It's insane. That state is insane. Newsom, what a joke. Jesus. Wow. I saw that a lot of people had their house It is very, yeah, they wouldn't fill that the reservoirs or that one main reservoir for LA. And then they cancel all the insurance. Why? How did they? So strange, right? Oh, insurance companies have so much power. Oh, John Mary, how are you? Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It is strange. Sometimes you wonder, like, what did they know? I don't believe in all conspiracy theories, but I absolutely believe in some. Trump said he's going to open up the JFK files and tell everybody what really happened. So I don't know if did you guys grow up with I did, and there's no way. And I saw a guy that was considered the best sniper in the world, and he said nobody in the world he couldn't make those shots on JFK. Yeah, there's no way. I had almost the exact same thing that got JFK bolt action. No way you can fire that fast, aim that good and that fast. No, there's definitely somebody else in on it, and why the cover up. And I guess what he said was it's a little bit shocking who was involved in it, but why would they want JFK out? I don't know, but hopefully he's going to open it up, stick to doing that. I'm so curious what really happened with him, because some of these things for sure are so set up and so much BS on Capitol Hill. Crazy. Oh yeah. It's one thing I don't miss about living in the US, although I still have to hear it here because I'm just curious what's going on there. I like Joe Rogan. I like to listen to his podcast, see what he's got to say. My girlfriend's a really good cook. I mean, her food is amazing. I finally switched her to olive oil because she cooks so much oil. So I cannot lose any weight, but I don't want to complain because my cooking is, I mean, really, really minimal. I have to cook a little bit sometime to get some food that I want that they don't have here. But yeah, my girlfriend does the cooking. She's really good cook. And she cooks every morning pretty much, almost every morning. Yeah, that's a great question. When I go back to America, how will I fit in after so many years? I think this is 2016 basically is when I left. So I don't know if I'll go back. You know, I think I'm going to be back and have to stay there maybe to help my family. But it won't be in Seattle because I mean, you know, it just changes completely depending on what city you're in. It's night and day difference. We had got a house in Phoenix before I got divorced, and the people down there are so friendly in Phoenix, right? Las Vegas people are pretty friendly. Seattle people are super unfriendly for the most part. I mean, yeah, so or guarded. It's a really negative vibe in Seattle. I think people are really stressed in Seattle. Very stressed out. Oh my God, say hey kid, that is so funny you said that. So there's this famous restaurant here called Four P's Pizza, and everybody, oh, it's amazing, it's great. All my friends, my American friends that are Asian say it's great, but it is some of the worst pizza, if not the worst I've ever had. So there's one place, it's too far from where I am now. It's pretty good pizza. Pretty good. There's another place. It's okay, pretty good. It'll give you your pizza fix, but you know, it's so far from really good pizza. Yeah, I know. I love pizza. It's my favorite food. But I just do, there's a Domino's that we get or Pizza Hut. And I can't even remember which one I like better. So I always order, I just guess. Um, but yeah, it's they put they don't like tomato sauce here much. They don't like sour food. Vietnamese do not like sour food. So they don't use much tomato sauce, which I need some tomato sauce on my pizza. Sorry. So yeah, the food is not. I mean, the food in I'd say the foreign food in Bangkok is much more accessible outside of the downtown area. Downtown Ho Chi Minh has a lot of foreign food. Has some really good American food, but pizza I have not yet found good pizza. Some pretty good hamburgers, but the meat here is not nowhere near as good as America. I cannot drink. I'm allergic to alcohol. But before, when I came here, I could drink alcohol. This is just an allergy that kicked in maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So, yeah, I'm not a huge beer connoisseur, but yeah, they have some good beer here. Yeah, yeah, good. But yeah, I don't really know. I'm never ever in my life really like beer. I was always kind of a vodka guy or rum. Good mixed drink. Something girly. I don't think, I know for sure I'm not as tough as my father and my grandfather. They would drink scotch, cheap scotch like Jim Beam with tap water, lukewarm tap water, no ice. My granddad had it once a day. I think they called it a highball. Lukewarm tap water with some Jim Beam, some cheap whiskey, scotch, whatever it is. That is some nasty, nasty stuff. But they're tougher generations, than those guys. Those men were tougher than me for sure. I'm not saying you're not tough. I don't know, but I definitely cannot hang with those guys. Oh, what's the health impact of the air pollution? There's definitely, you can feel it. Like this week has been the worst I think I can remember in Ho Chi Minh since I've ever been here in 6, 7 years. And I can feel it. I can feel it in my nose. I can feel it in the back of my throat. Hurts. So yeah, it's not good. Hanoi is just absolutely brutal. It's so, so nasty up there. So I don't know the whole impact. I just can't tell you, but for sure it's not good for us. Yeah, usually it's not too bad. It doesn't bother me too much, but I don't know what it is with this month. Maybe no wind, very little wind. I can look down there and see the trees. They're barely moving. So it may be that. But yeah, Thailand's gotten much better. Bangkok's gotten much better. How's Da Nang? Worth visiting? Absolutely. Da Nang is amazing. If I like Ho Chi Minh because it's a big city and you have more options. It's more lively, more happening. The night scene is way better in Ho Chi Minh. Much more going on. But Da Nang is so chill. And the beach, of course, you're on the beach, right? Ho Chi Minh, you got to drive 2, 3 hours to get to a beach. And that beach is nothing like Da Nang. Da Nang is rated the 5th best beach in the world by TripAdvisor. It's just the softest sand you'll ever feel. You can walk out for a football field or two in the water, just like up to your knees or your waist in some of the beaches. Clean. The seafood's amazing there. It's so, so cheap. Even Airbnbs, if you're there for a month, you can get an Airbnb on a good quality, nice Airbnb for $400 right by the beach, like maybe 2, 3 blocks from the beach. On the beach, maybe 550, 600. Yeah, it's crazy cheap. And you're talking like modern swimming pool on the roof. And, the people there are very chill, those Vietnamese people are very friendly in Da Nang. And the foreigners there are super friendly too. It's a great vibe. Just a little boring, but If you're a big beach guy, or it's a great place to get a motorcycle and go for a ride in the mountains. You can rent motorcycles there for, I don't know, $5 a day, $10 a day, something cheap. And drive around. Police don't really hassle you unless you're doing something ridiculous and you're wearing a helmet. Definitely wear a helmet. Definitely don't speed. And they'll let you go. Is Halong Bay overrated? I have never gone to Halong Bay, so I cannot tell you. I've heard some people say that it was really polluted, but that was this year after, and they had a huge hurricane up there this year. They actually had 3 of them, but one really bad one that may have put a lot of garbage in the water, but usually they clean it up. So I've heard both. Some people say it's overrated. I don't know. There's a lot of boats. It's very crowded. There's almost 2,000 islands in Halong Bay. So it's supposed to be just spectacularly beautiful and cool. So, if you're in the north, I would definitely go visit it because it's not far. It's not far from Hanoi. It's not far from Haiphong, which is a really modern city, although they got really hit hard by that hurricane too. But the Ha Giang Pass is up there, which people rave about. It's like a loop. It takes like 3 or 4 days to drive over these mountain passes, and people say the views. I have never heard anybody say Ha Giang Pass is not amazing, but I have heard a few people say Halong Bay is overrated. So, yeah. I was afraid to go to the north when I first got here for like 4 or 5 years because I just thought, well, they must hate Americans up there because that's, that was our enemy, the North. But I guess that's not really the case. And Southern people really don't care about the war. There are a certain percentage here were alive during the war, maybe lost some family members to the American side and vice versa. And you'll know them when you meet them because they're going to give you a scowl, So, if that's the reason why, I don't know. Some people, some Vietnamese are not that friendly towards foreigners, but it's not that much. It used to bother me, but I had to kind of just understand that, maybe they had lost somebody in the war. So I have to be understanding, because I have no idea what that would be like, right? My whole family that was in wars always came back. We never lost anybody in the war. So, in a war. So I don't know. Yeah. Don't know. But but you are going to see that when you live or stay in Ho Chi Minh outside the tourist areas. There are going to be some people that aren't going to like you as a foreigner. But that's smaller percentage, pretty small percentage. More people are going to like you. They have a very favorable view of Americans here in Ho Chi Minh. I think it's 85 to 89% of Vietnamese all over Vietnam have a favorable view of America or Americans. So, but you do have to get ready. Because I see YouTube videos where guys say, everyone here is friendly. It's just a lie. They're just lying to you. I hate it when they do that. Yeah, they've spent a lot of money so far on their infrastructure, and they're still working on it, because they keep getting more money coming into the country, and I think they're going to continue to grow with the exodus. Low-skilled jobs in China are going away because those people in China now are demanding $5 an hour. Vietnam, they can get people to work for $2 or $2.50 an hour for low skill jobs. So more and more foreign companies are coming to Vietnam, and now Vietnam is more trustworthy. Their government has cleaned up a lot of the corruption. That was the problem before. There were so many people that were corrupt here in the government. But they've had a massive cleanup. I think it's over 1,000 people are now in prison for corruption. So they wanted to clean it up. They've done a big job. And the country's come so far since the first time I came here in 2011. And I think it's just going to continue to improve. Like I said, they have a challenging situation because of the cost of land, but it's going to take some time, but they're definitely on the rise. Yeah, it's going to take time. They're way behind Thailand in infrastructure, roads. Yeah, the road system is going to take probably 30 years to catch up to where Thailand is now. The train system, probably about the same. Yeah. The airports are almost new, are almost done in Ho Chi Minh. They'll be finished in the next 2 or 3 years. They're going to have a huge new modern airport outside Ho Chi Minh. It's quite a ways away. And then the current one located really close to the center is being improved. And they're working on updating their immigration policies and so forth, like modernizing like Thailand has and Cambodia with the eye scans and everything. So yeah, they are. They're working on catching up. So yeah, they take their time. They're like every government, right? American government too. It's not hardly anything gets done quickly in America, right? Pretty much every giant construction project takes forever in America if it's run by the government. Private sector, much faster usually. Are there any major do's when it comes to dating Thai and Vietnamese? Yeah, do not rush. Now, this depends on what you want to do when you're here, right? Say, hey, if you want a girlfriend and just that step, a girlfriend, and then if it turns to something more, I can't remember what you wanted, but if you just want a girlfriend and if it works out great, definitely don't rush fast. And that's something I remember being taught by somebody who knew women well. Different crazy story, and it's so true. I think do not rush the sex stuff. Take your time. They will respect you more. They'll think that you actually like their insides. Yeah. So it is really difficult if you're a hungry American or foreigner coming here and you see them and you're on a date with them. It's not easy, but you just have to take your time. Take your time. So that would be the number one thing. Yeah, pay for the dates. The American culture thing of 50-50 doesn't fly here. You have to pay for the dates. Don't even look at her. She offers to pay. She's testing you. That's all she's doing. She doesn't want to pay. She's testing you. Third thing, don't talk too much. Definitely do not talk too much. They're not going to believe anything you say. You could tell them the truth. They're not going to believe you. They're very untrusting of men here. The best way to get them to like you is to show them that you like them, not tell them. That's a big no-no I've learned in life. Don't tell women you love them. I think I told you, I dated that one girl and I told her I'm starting to love you. And she, right after that, became crazy. Right after I said that, she started acting like I was like, wow, that was a mistake. Do not tell them you love them. Show them. My girlfriend asks me all the time, do you love me? And I say, no. She laughs. And the funny thing is, when I say that, she's so nice afterwards. Oh, I cooked for you, honey. I made you dinner. It's in the refrigerator. Just heat it up. I love you. She loves saying I love you. I love you to me, but I don't reply. I'll just say, yeah, you're okay. And maybe make it in a joking manner, but just don't say the words. Seriously, don't look in them in their eye. like a movie or something. I love you. No, that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. They just are not attracted to that at all. Isn't that strange? I still think we're getting a high-speed rail to LA. Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. The LA to Las Vegas high-speed rail. That was like, what, 8 years ago I heard about that, or 10 years ago? I was in Vegas. I spent maybe a few months in Vegas. And what year was that? Maybe 2010, 2012, I think 2012. 2013. Yeah. And Henderson. I really like Henderson. That's a nice neighborhood. Love that weather. Yeah, it's a good vibe there. I like that place. That's right. You're from Vegas. Yeah, that's a good foodie city too, right? Vegas. Man, there's a lot of good food there. Wow. I remember eating at some just amazing restaurants there. So happy. Oh, the food there. It's got to be one of the best cities in the world for food. Yeah, Seattle too. We had spent millions of dollars to build a monorail system in Seattle, and that was going to be run by the city government, and they never put one ounce of cement in the ground for a pillar. They spent millions and millions and millions of dollars getting all this property, and then it just fell apart. God love them, but Democrats just don't understand business or people at all. It's just not their focus. They just cannot understand business or common sense. They're just not people of common sense. Most of them. They're just focused on the weirdest things. They're in la la land. And I'm not a huge Republican either. I think there's a lot of Republicans that are pieces of, just bad people, greedy. But so that's why I'm an independent now. But I definitely lean towards Republicans now, because I can see at least they have some common sense that has completely left the Democratic side, I think. Not completely, but wow. Wow, just crazy to me. Oh, really? Are the Raiders in Henderson? Where is the stadium? I don't even know. I saw another video the other day on that stadium. It looks just unbelievable. Looks so, so cool. I've got it. That's got to be on my bucket list. The Raiders and the Cowboy Stadium. I want to go to the Cowboy Stadium and laugh. I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'm like a Shiite. And the Sunnis. I don't forget the bad call on my Vikings from like 45 years ago. Longer than that. 50 years ago, we got screwed by the refs. I still remember. I think I cried. I don't remember how old I was, but I was a young kid. Drew Pearson pushed off on my defender and got a free call. Brutal. Oh, near the MGM. Oh, wow. Really close to the Strip. Very cool. Yeah, so many great places. Probably the best foodie city, to be honest, that I've ever been in. I was in New York City, which is great, but you're in New York City, which is sketchy. Manhattan is sketchy. Just being there, you know what I mean? Got to really watch where you are, watch your back, make sure you're in the right neighborhood. But Las Vegas is so comfortable. Just drive. They have parking lots. It's a great, great, great place. Seattle's okay. I got some good food there. Yeah, we have some good restaurants, but it's not that amazing. Nothing like Las Vegas. Yeah, Vegas is I wonder how many husbands and wives have cheated on their mates in Vegas. It's got to be a high percentage. One thing I learned when I was young was that when girls, now this is girls because at this time I was 12, 13, 14, I noticed that when females get away from their home, they're much more likely to be permissive, much more likely for hanky panky when they get away from their town because they don't have to worry about their reputation when they're outside their state or their city. It was very interesting. At the time I learned it, unfortunately, I was too young. I think I was 12 or 13, and I had no game, and no girl wanted me. I think I had one. Kissed one girl, or kind of made out with one girl or something one time. I was just too young. But I did learn the knowledge. I just couldn't use the knowledge at that time. But I still remember to this day, and not that it comes in handy, but it could, if you can get date somebody for a few dates and then get them to go out of town with you, right? You come over here and you go out on maybe 3 dates and then invite her to go to Trang or something, or go to the beach. That's a good recipe, I think. Oh, I didn't know that. The Oakland A's are moving to Vegas. Oh, I'm so behind the time. I saw the Tropicana blow up. Oh, that is so cool. Oh, the A's have just had the worst stadium for so long. What a great baseball organization, too. I want to watch that full movie. I haven't seen the full thing with who's that good-looking actor? My God, my brain. Who was that guy? The guy that played in the movie, played the general manager. Married to oh, my brain is gone. Angelina Jolie. Brad Pitt. Whew, scary. Yeah, I got to see that whole movie. It looks so interesting, based on a true story. Oh yeah, if they ever bring up crypto, it is complete BS. So I'll tell you something that's crazy that I just learned not a couple months ago what they're doing. Now I can see it when I go on Facebook, or not so much is it Facebook, but Threads, right? There's a lot of them on Threads, or some on Instagram, but a lot of them on Threads, the new platforms, right? And they're these beautiful girls, and they're like, I need a boyfriend. I mean, it's obviously just lies. If a girl looks like that, she doesn't need to go online. She's going to have plenty of guys. But yeah, it's all a scam. 99.999% is a scam. So they have these giant centers set up in Myanmar, right across the river from Thailand. Thailand has beautiful girls. Myanmar does not. So you bring these good-looking girls from Thai right across the river to Myanmar so that they can video call with you. And they get in on the scam, right? So, guys are not they're dumb. Don't get me wrong. Guys can be dumb or super dumb. But they'll insist on having a video call. And then they video call and the girl's actually real. So like, oh, but no, they just pay those girls. Or the girls have debts to the gang members who run these places, and they're just giant facilities, like dorm rooms, like great big buildings they're building all over this river in Myanmar that borders Thailand. Because Thailand is cracking down on stuff like that, and they'll put you in prison, and Thai prisons are supposed to be some of the worst in the world. So they go to Myanmar. They get these girls to come across the river and work, these Thai girls to work. And they'll live chat with you and, try and get your money. I had a Vietnamese friend who almost got suckered for, I think it was $2,800 US, which is quite a bit of money here, maybe 12,000 US to them. And he almost fell for it. But luckily at the last minute, he decided not to send the money. I don't know why. But yeah, it's so common. Guys, it's sad because guys are so lonely. I know that feeling of being so lonely. And you just want to believe that there's somebody out there and you want to be happy. So you believe the lies. So it's sad, but I just hope that, I should make a video about that, getting scammed online. I just think it's so obvious, but for some people, some guys, they just cannot see it. But yeah, these centers are set up and they're just cranking in the money, I guess. Crypto's already scary enough, right? I mean, it's so unregulated. And I know it's on the way to getting regulated, but so many people have already lost millions, right? Tom Brady lost a fortune to that Sam guy. So yeah, I think very, very, very sketchy where you get your crypto from. Where is it? How do you access it? I mean, I would never do it. But then again, I'm not really well known. Oh, you got it for $2,000. Sorry, brother. Yeah. I can tell you I paid a way higher price when I was married. I don't know if that makes you feel better. But yeah, they're all scams. There's just none of them that are real here. Thai women don't have money most of the Thai women, Vietnamese women. No, there are women with money, but they're not going to be asking you for money. No. You bet, so. Or so. You bet. Yeah, I think for some people that's it. The dream of easy money, right? Vietnamese have a huge problem with gambling, as Chinese do. And I think I mentioned I worked in the casinos in America for 11 years. So and you say, hey, Vegas, it's a huge problem, specifically with Chinese and Vietnamese have the worst problem. It doesn't really matter, white, black, there's all kinds of people with problems. But those two races, they've got it bad here. That is their disease, right? Where with white people and black people, it's more drugs, right? Or alcohol, but with Asians, it's gambling. God, they gamble big money too. Big money here. Big money for Americans. And they'll their whole lives, they'll take their whole life savings in a weekend and go spend it all in Cambodia, risking it all to double it, 50,000 US or 100,000 US in a weekend. It's basically money here is about 4 times. You bring $100 US to Vietnam, it's $400 here, right? Basically, that's about what it breaks down to for everything. There's a few things that are more expensive, but almost everything's 25%. The main things, your living cost will be 20% of America. America's price is different, but just figure 25%. I mean, it's my rent here. This place would easily be 5, 6 times as much in Seattle. Easy as what I pay here. 6 times, right? You can eat breakfast here easy for $2. Easy $2. A coffee's $1. Lunch $2. Dinner maybe $3, $4, maybe. Yeah. Well, good. Say, hey, I'm glad. I know it's shot up. As long as you know what you're doing, right, and where you're buying it. I have friends that are into it. Uh, and they know that stuff. I just don't know it. I don't have the extra money to be putting in Bitcoin either, so it wouldn't be that's not where I need to put my money. I still owe money and credit cards from COVID. My brain is so dead today. COVID, yeah, COVID was as for many of us, not a fun time financially. So yeah, but chilling here in Vietnam. Here, let me show you guys the scene out there. See if you can see the. So this is that's the farms that are still around here. They'll eventually they'll be gone, and there'll be other apartments there, maybe, or something. I mean, Vietnam is changing so much, and you can see how polluted it is too today. This is day maybe 5 or 6 of pollution, high pollution in Ho Chi Minh. I can really feel it. So America, I don't know how old you guys are, but America used to be very polluted when I was a young child. Like the pollution on the road where I grew up in South Dakota, very bad. Air pollution was really bad in major cities, but they really cracked down on it. One good thing the government did was crack down on the air pollution problems. Oh, I had a Keurig in, I believe that's what it was. I can't remember. That was awesome in Colombia. But no, my girlfriend makes it here. It's the coffee here, just unbelievably delicious. Coffee here is outstanding. Yeah, she makes me coffee every morning. So I wake up at 5 or whatever. She wakes up and makes me my coffee and breakfast. And yeah, I can't complain. Yeah, it's nice. It's not a great view because it's to me anyway. My girlfriend likes it because she likes farms and animals and stuff like that. She wants to live in the country, but I don't want to live in the country at all. It is too boring. But she likes it. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with us because we have so different taste. I want to travel more. She doesn't like traveling that much. She doesn't like airplanes. The other place, I haven't done a video. I know I did make a video about living apartments. I lived in some apartments and close to downtown. So American style breakfast, no. Um, Sometimes a little bit, but she just kind of does her own thing. I'll have like she makes some unbelievable, like this honey chicken for breakfast with rice, with vegetables. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Her cooking is amazing. The honey chicken. Uh, she makes like this special hamburger mix with bok choy, and it's just off the chart. Her cooking is so good. I'm so lucky with that. Are there any? Is there any local places? I don't know of any. Um, the problem with those things, from what I've seen, is those girls are really prepared to date you. Their personality is, they know how to act. Those services will tell them how to act to get you to trust them, right? What I mean? See what I'm following? They're trained. So I think you're better off when you go to Thailand, uh, is find somebody you like and take your time. Uh, don't stare at them too much. Be nice, but don't be too nice. I don't know. Just be relaxed. and get to know them a little bit, talk to them a little bit. And then at some point, you just tell them, hey, let's go eat. Let's go eat Friday. Or I'm going to take you to dinner on Friday. Asian girls love that when you're really strong. Really strong. They love that. I've got so many female students who said, this guy asked me out, but he was like, do you want to go out? I'd like to take you out. They absolutely hate it. Asian girls love it when you're really strong. And I don't mean physically strong. They don't care about that. They just want you to be confident. Like, Friday, let's go eat dinner. Here, I'll pick you up. They get uncomfortable. They're going to have a hard time saying no. They're already like, I totally you have to keep women, I don't care where you are, you have to keep them off their balance. Get them off balance. Make them a little uncomfortable. They like it. You'll like it because you're going to have more power in the relationship. You're in the West, you're absolutely have no power. They hate you, right? So many times they hate men. So when you're a man, so they're going to hate you. But here, they like men. They like it when you're stronger. So yeah, that's the key. Take your time. Don't move too fast with them. And watch out for the telltale signs that they're a player. It's not easy, but when you get here, you're gonna come here. You'll probably have some bad experiences, but at least you'll have fun. Some fun, especially in Thailand, because those girls are not going to make you wait long to sleep with them. So at least you'll have that to go on, but it sounds like you really want a good relationship. So don't go too fast with the physical stuff, and don't push it. It's hard though. I know, brother, it's so hard when you're lonely and you haven't had some for a while and you get here and you see them. It's pretty shocking how many beautiful women there are when you get to Bangkok. Pretty shocking. So unfortunately, I can't tell you if there's any trusted ones. I just don't know. I know some Vietnamese services. I've never used them. I don't know anybody that's used them. But I remember hearing some reports on those places, and they train those women on how to act when they meet you. Well, that's a little scary, and you'd rather have them see what kind of game they have, because it is a game. That's really what it boils down to. It's a game. You got to be on your toes. You want to keep them on their toes, and you want to be on your toes too. So, but they definitely exist. There's good girls that definitely exist. Don't go too young. I don't know how old you are. Keep the age gap. Try and keep that age gap around 15 years. Depends on what you look like. It's hard. I know, man. I was in Bangkok and I had a couple girls that liked me. I don't know how old they were because I never asked them out, but golly, maybe one of them, she looked like she was 19, and you're like, wow, that would be fun in the bedroom. But yeah, I can't pull that trigger. Well, I have a girlfriend, so it's impossible. But if you don't have a girlfriend and you just want that, but if you're looking for a real relationship, definitely don't go that way. That's not gonna be a winner. That's not a long-term solution. That's not a long-term solution. How do you meet? Yeah, no, it's not hard. It's not hard. Yeah, if you're talking service industry like restaurants and stuff like that, absolutely. 7-Elevens are a great place. You go there all the time anyway in Thailand. You're going to be in your local 7-Eleven. I would say don't move. Find a place that you like and rent it for a month or two so that you continue to see the same girls. When they see you, They pay no attention to me when I go into a 7-Eleven. None. As a foreigner, because their main experience, 99 out of 100 foreigners are not going to return except maybe for a day or two. But if they see you after 2-3 weeks, that's when they start doing double takes and triple takes. Like, oh, that guy's been here for a while. Then they can start to think about you. And women like to create this image of their life with you in their head before it happens, right? So now you've planted in their head, oh, I've seen this guy. He smiles at me. He's nice. And he's been here for 2-3 weeks. Now they're starting to think, And there's a lot of women that work in 7-Elevens that are, 35, 40, 45, 50 even. It's some of them, yeah, some of them don't look that great. They don't take care of themselves, but a lot of them do, or some of them do. God, there was one here I really liked. I asked her one day how old she was. She said she was 61. I couldn't believe it. She looked amazing. Amazing. Wow. You're just like, holy smokes. So there are some, there's definitely 40-year-olds that look like they're 30, 32 here. Yeah. So, especially Vietnam, they really take care of themselves here. I know a lot of them at the gym that are 35, 40, 45, and you just look at them, you're like, wow. That's a good place to meet them too, is a gym. I'm not a huge fan of meeting girls at a gym because if there's trouble, you work at the same gym, if you like your gym, it can be a pain. Yeah, just out and about. There's also, if the dating sites, I think, if you know what you're doing, the way to filter out this, the gold diggers. Somebody said, I watched a guy the other day that said something. If you see photos of them in their really fancy resorts, right, and they're working at a 7-Eleven and they're at 5-star resorts or really fancy places, different places on their profiles, probably they're hooking up with a lot of foreigners, which is really common in Thailand, and they don't care. The good thing is most of the Thai girls will kind of be honest about it, from what I say, or Filipinos will lie. Filipinos will lie. Thai girls will just tell you, oh yeah, they're very open about it. Vietnamese girls are kind of in the middle. They just don't do it as much. They do it. I knew one girl that I hooked up with a long time ago here, and she definitely was a playboy, playgirl. Yeah, absolutely. And I saw the pictures of her at really nice resorts and so forth. Turns out she ended up marrying a guy from America, but when she was married, she still kept texting me and saying some, sexual stuff to me when she was married. She just got married too. I was like, oh, that's messed up. I've never dated a single mom. Well, I've dated lots of them. Single moms are great because I think older women are much easier to date in general. They're so much more appreciative of your time. Younger women are more, I'm young, right? Women know that when they're young, they're more in demand. So when they're older, they feel that they're not as beautiful, even though women are very self-critical too, usually, not all. Some of them the opposite, but most women are pretty self-critical. They were, maybe when they were young, they were really hot, and now they're 38. They've got 2 kids, but they're still, 110 pounds, and they still do yoga, but they don't feel. Here, youth is just so special. It is so praised to be young here. Like I'll say, oh, you're so young. Like when I meet girls at my apartment that are, 18, 20 or something, 22, they just smile from ear to ear. They're so happy. And they're like, yes, they'll even say, yes, I'm so young. It's such a prize here to be young. So the women that are 35, 40, 45, they don't feel that way, even though they're still sexy, and I just find their personalities are much generally much easier to deal with. Now, although I've dated a couple young girls here before, quite a while ago. But I've avoided it since then because I broke one girl's heart. What can you do when you have a huge age gap, right? We got no future, you know. I dated this girl, she was young. And I told her in the beginning, I did not lie to her. I said, there's no way we can be boyfriend, girlfriend. I told that before I slept with her because I wanted to be upfront and honest with her. Because usually when you're upfront with women, they appreciate it. And she was like, okay. And then off came the clothes. She didn't care. But later she did care because she fell in love with me and I care about her. And I do love her. I still care about her. But so now I've hurt her. So now I have to continue to be nice to her, which isn't always easy because she's not easy to be nice to sometimes. But yeah. So as far as older women, I think just be honest with them. They're just so much easier to get along with. And single mom, it depends on how old their kids are too, how much, like, are they 15 where they're very, they pretty much can do anything. They can drive to school or whatever, take their bike to school, all that stuff. Or are they, 4 and 5 where they need a lot more attention? You just have to understand you might have to play part-time dad. Are you okay with that? Do you like kids? I think is a big thing. I really like kids, so it's easy for me. But yeah, just a big decision. But I think it's so much easier. Stress. They're so happy to have somebody because I can tell you, Asian women with a kid or two here, single, really, really hard to get an Asian guy that's going to marry them again. Take on kids that aren't their own. That is just not Asian culture usually. So they're extremely happy and grateful. And they're going to treat you a lot better probably. She expected me to pay the staff extra money or give staff tips. In Thailand, huh? I'm surprised. It's weird that she would make focus on you tipping. It's not, depends, yeah, if you're talking about stalls, like a food stall, like at a big market or something, yeah. You don't have to tip in those places. You're just going up, standing there, ordering food. They give it to you. You go sit down. They're not serving you, right? Very little service. You don't usually tip at those places. That's a bad sign if she's worried about you giving money to her foreigners. You kind of get the idea that she's more loyal to her fellow country people than you. So I would say, yeah, steer clear of somebody like that. Now you go to a restaurant or something, but even then, maybe later she can say after a third, fourth, fifth date, say, can you leave a little bit? Or she can leave a little bit. If you're paying for it, it's not a big deal to her to leave, 30 baht or something like that, 20 baht, something. Oh, good question. Is there any drama with the fathers? I never ran into that situation. Yeah, I think that's a case by case basis, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. You never know. There's going to be any drama with a father, stepfather. Yes. So that's good that you said that. If you just tell them, I want to go out, even you have the money or don't, it doesn't matter. That's a good test. I understand why women don't want to go if you say, you can't afford to go to a nice, expensive place. Just say, or I don't like spending money. at an expensive restaurant when I can go get food that's just as good for 1/5 the price, right? Like today, we're gonna go eat at a restaurant. I know it'll probably be about $2 per person for each of us. So cheap, right? For a good lunch and a coffee, maybe $1.50 or something. So, I'm much happier to spend money that way. I like to save money. I like to save money. So I don't. I think it's just such a waste. The thing I hate the worst is hotel rooms. I hate spending a lot of money on hotel rooms. You just sleep there. Why do you need a nice, fancy 5-star? It's just I've never paid for a 5-star or for maybe a 4-star, but I don't think it was a real 4-star. Nothing. I don't ever remember paying a lot of money for a hotel room. I just refuse it. I did in Los Angeles, but it was $200 for one night, but it was not a fancy. It was just a super basic room, but it's Los Angeles, so it was right next to one of those theme parks. Yeah, sorry, but that's just the way some of those girls are. It sounds like for sure that's the way she was, Sal. So don't worry about it. There's definitely those girls that are there like that. No, so Thailand's super easy when I go there. Philippines is super easy when you go there. You don't even need a visa per se. They just stamp your passport when you get there. Vietnam, you have to get a visa. If you're going to extend in Vietnam past the 3 months, you have to leave the country now. You can do it. It's goes from $25 or $50 to about 175 to $225, depending on what type of transportation you take to Cambodia. It takes a whole day. So it's a little bit more difficult, but they're very generous in Vietnam about extending your tourist visas. Depends on your age and if they think you're working or not. But they're really pretty generous about that. I always say when you go to do these immigration places, make sure you've shaved, right? You got your hair done a little bit. You're wearing a polo shirt or something like that, or at least a nice t-shirt, nice clothes. Don't come in looking, too bummy, because that's when they're less likely to stamp your passport for the full time. So that would definitely be my tip for immigration. But yeah, Vietnam, Thailand, and the Philippines are easy. South Korea, easy. Japan, I cannot remember. I think Japan's fairly easy, but I think you can just get a visa on arrival, a VOA there. China's only 6 days. Why go to China? You only have 6 days and you have to leave at the same place you go in. So you can't even fly into Hong Kong and then go up to Beijing and fly out. You got to go all the way back to Hong Kong in 6 days. It's ridiculous. They just basically they don't like Americans being there for sure. They don't want American influence on their people. I've met a lot of nice Chinese people traveling in Thailand. Most of the Chinese I've met traveling have been really nice. I met one at the border of Vietnam coming in. He was not particularly friendly, but he was not friendly. But as I was talking to the Taiwanese guy, he was really friendly. And then that guy started talking to him because they both speak Mandarin. But they were friendly with each other, which is interesting, right? Taiwanese and Chinese mainland. But most of the Chinese people I've met have been quite friendly. Yeah. Interesting. I guess they're having some major problems, but who knows? I mean, that is one big country. So a major problem in one city doesn't mean the whole country, but they're having some issues. They have a new campaign called Let It Rot, where the young people are just refusing to work. And it's really got the CCCP upset because they've actually addressed it. Xi Jinping said we need to listen to the youth and what they want, which I thought was quite interesting. So I don't know what's going to happen in China. They've got their hands full. And with Trump coming in, I think he's going to put the pressure on them too. So we'll see. They seem to think there's a way out without America, but us Americans, we buy a lot of stuff from China. So I don't know. That's over my head, but oh yeah, I have not checked what the situation is in Japan now, but it's very easy for Americans to visit there. Yeah. I can't imagine it's changed. Yeah. So I don't think it'll be an issue at all. Very cool. October for the pickleball. Awesome. Yeah. Kobe's where they had that. I guess they had an earthquake there a couple of days ago. I don't know what happened. Yeah, it's happening in America with the Gen Zs. That's right. That's right. I saw that. I watched a thing about work and how so many of the youth today are just not interested in getting jobs. I wondered if that's why they opened up the border, if that was one of the reasons. I think the main reason was to get Democratic votes, right? They're trying to let all those people come across from these countries to get them to vote Democrat so that they can win the next elections stay in power for the next 20 years. Uh, but Trump's vowing to send them back out. It's going to be a big job. But I don't know if that was part of it to get cheap labor, right? So cheap for Americans. It's a lot of money to them, though. I don't know if people understand that $10 an hour to us is garbage, but to somebody from Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, $10 an hour is a lot of money. It's like $40 an hour, right? So it's an interesting situation. I wish they could figure it out so that they could make some sort of system that would benefit Americans and the people that wanted to make some money in America, but not be U.S. citizens because they're not paying in. A lot of them aren't paying, I don't know, into the tax system. Some of them do, I guess. I don't know. I don't totally understand that for sure. Oh yeah, during low tourist season, yeah, Siloam is where I stayed the first time I went to Bangkok. That's a great area, right? Sukhumvit is very big. Sukhumvit is cool. It's a little bit further away from a lot of the attractions, a lot of the places to go, but I prefer Siloam. Well, I don't know. They're both good. But Siloam is great. I can't remember. I think I paid $27 a night, rings true in my head, for and it was a not really nice place. It was a nice place. I think it was 3 or 4 stars. I mean, it wasn't fancy though, but free breakfast. But I could walk to, uh, what's the name of that big mall, electronics mall? But Icon Siam was like a kilometer away, mile away, something like that. There's so much to do around that area. Walk around. A lot of good restaurants. Salon. Yeah. Sukhumvit's cool though too. It's got I've stayed there 2 or 3 times. It's cool. I don't know which one's better, but yeah. As long as I think the key thing is if you're next to a train, it makes life a little bit easier, right? You don't have to hassle with taking a grab bike to get to the train station to go somewhere. Yeah, it's Yeah, they're, God, I stayed about an hour outside of Bangkok, high rise Airbnb for, it was 500 for a month. I just looked, it was like 475 for a month. 60-story building, unbelievably nice gym, 3 pools, I believe, one giant swimming, the biggest pool I've ever seen. It had to be 100 meters long. It was enormous. 50 meters long, like Olympic size, easy. And then the one on the roof of the hotel, um, beautiful gym, $475. That's all utilities on Airbnb. So you can imagine if you booked a year lease there, you're probably going to get it for $300, or 250, 275. It's crazy. Has it, people say it's gone up. I don't see it that much from somebody who's been here for off and on for the last 9 years. I mean, I visited here before. Yes, it was cheaper 15 years ago, but it's still so cheap, my man. It's crazy. Like you can still get a banh mi sandwich for 80 cents. Most banh mi's are 20 baht. I mean, 20,000 dong, which is about 80 cents. So it's still so cheap here. Uh, yeah, I don't know what people are saying. I would say the rent has gone up, like at Airbnbs, for sure, have gone way up near the center. Hotels have gone up for sure. The travel stuff has gone up. Yes, I totally think. I think they're trying to get their money back from COVID. And there's a higher demand now, maybe for the tourists. The tourists have actually not come back as much to Vietnam, but they've really increased in Thailand. So I'm not really sure why the prices are so much higher in Ho Chi Minh. I think than they should be for the quality you get, because you get way more for your money in Bangkok for Airbnbs and hotels. A good hotel in Ho Chi Minh is expensive. You can definitely get a good hotel in Bangkok cheaper. I don't know why, because Bangkok is a more modern, nicer city. I mean, oh, don't get me wrong, Ho Chi Minh is great too, downtown especially. Lots of great restaurants, good scenes, fun. The vibe is not quite as cool as Thailand for sure, though. The vibe in Thailand is amazing. Yeah, you can hire a car for a day if you want to, or you use Grab, the Grab app in Thailand. I use Grab in Thailand and in Vietnam. They're Uber, right? I'm not sure if you're familiar, but the Uber here is Grab. You can order food, but you can order motorbike taxis, or you can order taxis if you need to move and it's very, very cheap compared to America. That's another thing that's maybe 20%, 15% of the cost. Like I can spend an hour in a taxi and it's going to cost me about $10 to $12 for a taxi ride for an hour. Bangkok's even cheaper. Bangkok you can get for like $8 or something for an hour drive. It's crazy. I usually tip when I use those services because I know gas is still expensive. Because I feel a little bad. $8 is ridiculous. In Seattle, that's at least 75. An hour ride in Seattle is going to cost you probably $125. At least 100. It's easy too. It's easy driving a car. No, not in Ho Chi Minh is brutal to drive a car. I'm going to try it when I get back. My girlfriend has a car, but I have to get an international driver's license. So if you're going to come here and you want to drive, you can rent motorcycles. You should consider getting your endorsement, motorcycle endorsement. You go to AAA and they're going to give you an international driver's license for your motorcycle and car. And when you come here, you don't need to hassle with it's good enough. You don't have to hassle getting any paperwork. And, you definitely want to not drive right away. You want to learn how the locals drive because Thailand's crazy. Thailand's the #1 country in the world for deaths per capita. Vietnam is second. So there's a lot of people that lose their lives driving here. Thailand because of speed, and Vietnam because of getting knocked over, not paying attention. They get knocked over and run over by container trucks or hit by the big buses, coach buses. Crazy. I think 40,000 people die a year in Vietnam and Thailand, each respectively, in road accidents. It's really quite high if you think about it. Oh, good question. Let me answer this, and I think I should get off. I think I'm getting a sore throat. How's the shopping in Vietnam looking for American items? That's a good question. There are certain items that they do not have in Vietnam and Thailand that you may want to consider bringing with you. But most of the items you'll have, except food. Certain food items can be hard to find. Harder in Ho Chi Minh than in Bangkok. It depends on how big you are too. So if you wear extra large t-shirts or you have big shoes, anything size, they don't have shoes here size 11 and a half and up. Definitely size 12 they do not have in Vietnam. You can order it online. I've had to get a couple pair of shoes online. I really don't know if they're real or not. Real shoes. Real Nikes or not. If they're not real, they made a big profit. But they've held up okay, so maybe they are real. But they're more expensive, right? That's one of the few things, like shoes are more expensive here because they can't, even though they're made in Vietnam, they have to ship them to America and ship them back to Vietnam. So for whatever reason. And then, so shoes, clothes, if you wear extra large t-shirts in America or extra large shirts, really hard to find. Although there is a place to find it in Ho Chi Minh with good quality clothes. They do have some. The quality in clothes now in Vietnam is much better. Thailand is got good quality, and it's just unbelievably cheap to buy clothes there. And you don't want to bring a bunch of these cotton t-shirts because they're too hot. So you're gonna want to buy the rayon or the nylon or whatever they are shirts that they sell them here. You can get Nike, Under Armour, all that stuff here for like $5 a shirt. So that's what I've done. I've got Nike sweats, $5 or whatever, $6. So really, really cheap. Not real, but the quality is actually pretty good. Some of it's not the same. It's not the same quality, but it's for $5. You can't complain. But it's much better than it used to be. There are certain things I can't really remember. What do I bring from America? Like taco seasoning would be something to bring if you like Mexican food, for example. They have some foreign stores. It's definitely going to be pricey. Much more expensive than America for some of the items that you get from America because they've got to ship them all the way over here. Is going through customs. You're probably not going to go through customs in Vietnam or in Thailand. They just don't check anymore. They used to check what you're bringing in. Now they just let you walk out of the airport. So now if they do pull you over, you have to be careful what you have. But I've brought back hamburger, steaks. In Vietnam, you just slip like a $5 bill in your passport when you hand it to them, or your ticket. You just give them like $5 and everything goes through. That's how it works. But not anymore. They don't do that anymore. Now they just let you walk right out of Ho Chi Minh Airport. I have never been hassled with going through customs, then checking your luggage. They just don't do it here. Where they do it in other countries. They just don't do it in Thailand and in Vietnam. I have never seen them check at either airport in Bangkok for going through anyone's luggage. Not even one person, maybe one person one time. They just sit there and laugh with each other and giggle. There's like 3 or 4 of them. They sit there. They never pull anybody over. Yeah, food items. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you want to bring for food, but yeah, you have to be careful. I'd say what you bring. They may not like some of the stuff, but I think it depends on what it is. But like taco seasoning and stuff like that, they're not going to care. The other thing you should think about bringing is vitamins. If you take vitamins here are more expensive. And you don't know 100% if they're real. So when I go back, I'll run to Costco and get my vitamins there and bring them back. So that's one thing I do. That way you've got them with you when you're here. And they're cheaper. You can get Costco stuff here. You can get Costco GLS. I use it for my joints. You can get vitamins here that's Costco brand. And I've never had fake products. I use Rogaine, right, for my hair. I can buy that here too. It's maybe double the price here. So there's certain things like that if you get from Costco, they have their family in Vietnam, in America, or Thailand, and they'll buy the goods, ship it back to Thailand or Vietnam or the Philippines, whatever. Philippines has kind of a little bit, they have better connection with American goods than you're going to have in Vietnam and Thailand. But you can get most everything online now. It's just going to be a little bit more. But the vitamins, I'd say, definitely can save you, $50. Yeah. The other thing I think that can save you a lot of money is knowing about the money. If you just bring back crisp, untorn $100 bills with you, you're going to save a lot of money on ATM fees. In Vietnam, you just go to jewelry stores, ask them what the rate is. They're just going to take a small percentage over what the rate is. You just look on Google what the rate is. Some of them I've had to go to another jewelry store, but somebody's going to give you a good price. And you can exchange your money for Vietnamese dong, or when you go to Thailand, they have 2 specific ones. I use Super Rich, which is the orange one, and they've got fantastic rates. You just need your passport. You can exchange your money. When I go there from Vietnam, I take Vietnamese money there. They take almost money from all over the world in Thailand because so many people come there from everywhere, right? So they'll take your local money wherever you came from, Malaysia, it doesn't matter. And they'll exchange it to Thai baht, and it's so cheap, such a good rate. They're very honest. You don't have to worry about getting ripped off like you do. The other good thing to think about saving some money is your SIM card. What are you going to do? No Costco's in Thailand and Vietnam. Not now. No. There's a lot of countries that don't have Costco's. Surprised. There are a lot of countries, but there's a lot of them that don't have it. So there's some money saving tips. What was I saying? Maybe one more. Well, I think I should get off. My girlfriend's going to be home in a minute. I gotta go get something to eat too. Thank you guys for joining the chat. I appreciate it. Say hey, Sal, Anthony. Say hey, kid. Joined right away. Stayed. I appreciate it very much. And hopefully I can give you some knowledge, and I'll try and go. Oh, thanks. I'll try and go live again. Maybe I'll set up a schedule. I have to kind of figure out my teaching schedule. I'm limiting my students now as I have to go back to America in a month. So, but I want to set up a schedule so I can do this, kind of grow my channel on YouTube, and see if we can get a community going for men. I think men, we need to kind of unite. Women do. They've got a team. They're a strong team, man. They're a very secretive organization. What's that secretive men's organization? You know, not the Knights of Columbus, but the one that's been around forever that started banking. Oh, what is the name? Oh, my brain cannot remember anything. God, you forget English over here too. Start to forget words anyway. Thanks, Sal. Appreciate it. Ciao, Mary. Thank you. Yeah, men are alone in the West. That's right. And I hate it when men stab other men in the back just to get a girl. So I think that's why we have to unite and kind of the bros before. I don't want to call women hoes because it's not nice either. It's a bad. You just have to learn how to keep women on their toes so they like it too. They want to be more feminine too, you know. They say what women say they want and what they really want is not the same thing usually. I've learned that. Yeah. Funny. They can be lost, you know. They can be very influenced by others. So anyway, just have to do our best to try and have some control in our relationships. Not all of it, but we need a bromance like Trump and Musk. That's hilarious. Yeah, those guys love each other. Oh, that's hilarious, my man. Exactly. We have to stick together as men and learn the tricks that they've got that they use and not fall for theirs. And trying that, I think that way the women will be happier and the men will be happier too. I think everybody will be happier if we can learn to fight and be more smart. Because I certainly have had many times in my life I've been so dumb, and it's embarrassing. But it's life. Can't change the past. Just learn and go forward, right? So yeah. All right, guys. Have a good evening. And I will see you guys in the next live stream. Thanks again. Bye-bye.